Greetings and happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to one and to all. Perhaps it is Thursday, depending upon where you are on the globe. Give yourselves a round of applause. 2 and 3. Another day, as we know, each day is a blessing. So please make sure that you are thankful. Thank you to the members and subscribers and those who may peep in every now and again to show support or leave some comments that may not be as friendly. So today, we are going to travel virtually to Fairfax County, Reston, Virginia, to be exact, where we will be looking at a horrible, horrible story. I didn't expect this. Mostly I've been covering crime in the District of Columbia, Maryland, and touching a little bit on Virginia politics, but not as much crime in Virginia. But today there was a manhunt that lasted approximately 2 hours, according to reports. Please, I implore you to always conduct your own thorough, meticulous research, because as we have seen lately, facts have changed, stories have changed, accounts have changed, accuracy, or what you may have thought was accuracy, has mysteriously changed in many high-profile cases. So again, let's travel to Fairfax County, Virginia. Fairfax County, Virginia, as I mentioned, was the scene of a horrific crime, and it was a manhunt. Early in the day near schools, and again, this is Fairfax County, Reston, Virginia, to be exact. And if anyone is familiar with Reston is actually a very nice area. But let me put a hard stop there and let everyone know that every area, no matter the zip code, no matter how affluent the area, crime still occurs. Maybe not as much, but it does. And oftentimes when it does, it's very, very serious. Earlier today, there was a manhunt, as I mentioned, and someone who, at the time of this broadcast, it is 6:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, there was a manhunt for an individual who unalived someone in a residence in Reston, Virginia. It was believed that the suspect lived in that same home. The identity at that time was not released for the suspect nor the victim. I do not know if the victim has been identified, but the suspect, who was at large for a period of time, has been apprehended and identified as 23-year-old Marvin Fernando Morales Ortez, again, 23 years old. As you can see here, the police chief said that he was at the time before the arrest, was armed and considered dangerous. 5 Fairfax County public schools were placed on secure the building status as police searched for Morales Ortiz. The school system told WTOP in a statement. That's my source right now, WTOP. That means students and the staff were asked to remain inside those schools, and dismissals were delayed until police could determine it safe. Now, I'm going to do another quick hard stop. I am 57 years old, and growing up, I remember food fights, I remembered verbal fisticuffs, and a couple of fist fights. Never, this is for me, did I ever think or worry or have heard or had heard of any weapons in high school. And I went to a mixed high school. It seems like to me every day, every single day, there is an incident involving a weapon, and it's at the hands of young people. Now, before anyone gets in the chat or leaves a comment about the suspect's status here in the United States, I don't know. I don't know. The point is, when does this stop? I must be honest, even though I moved and I'm at peace, I'll be honest with that. I have to go to different areas for my work. I don't like this area anymore. It's something strange, bizarre to me in the atmosphere I'm seeing at night, especially. And I'm going to start recording. I'm going to go out on the back if it's not too cold. I've seen so many helicopters. So many. Now, there's Reagan National Airport. There's Andrews Air Force Base. There's BWI, and then there are commercial airports. So we also have medical response units that go to areas in Maryland, DC, some Virginia, matter of fact. So that's not too far of a reach, but here lately, I'm just noticing it seems like a barrage, sometimes nightly, of helicopters and other strange things that I'll think about to speak on at another time. But it's just something very, very strange and odd. I don't understand the mentality of people and what can trigger. What is triggering people to continue to take the lives of others and then to be so young? No, I am not naive. I guess I'm getting a bit overwhelmed now because it's too much. It is absolutely too much. Now, you have a young person's life who's destroyed, and he may not care. I don't know. But you have another person and their family, loved ones, and then you have a neighborhood now that haven't thought about this before, or maybe they have. I don't know. But it's just a sad day that every day, there's something going on in Washington, D.C. There's something going on in Maryland. And now There's things happening in Virginia, Reston, Virginia. It's just a feeling of, again, being overwhelmed with safety concerns. Always be vigilant, but my goodness, I just had to let that go. So this is what was used, and you can see that it's partially redacted by some crime scene tape I put up. Next slide we have is drones. They use drones, ladies and gentlemen, a helicopter and K9s to scour a neighborhood in search of a man. Again, he's been identified and arrested now, who Fairfax County police alleged was behind the incident. Marvin Fernando Morales Ortez, again 23 years old, was taken into custody Wednesday afternoon. Again, that's today. This was just earlier today, just a few hours ago. And a weapon was recovered at the scene, according to, again, according to a social media post from the police. Police Chief Kevin Davis said the suspect unalived another man inside of the home at 12300 block of Fan Shell Court, then fled the area on a bicycle. I don't know whether this was premeditated. I don't know if there was some type of confrontation. I don't know if there has been a motive. Again, not to my knowledge at this time of the broadcast. Again, it is now 6:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is disturbing. Well, the whole story is disturbing, but it says that the neighborhood is near the intersection of the Dulles Access Road and Fairfax County Parkway. I can't tell you how many times I've traveled that road, and this is just unreal. Again, here is the 23-year-old right here. To me, and this is no disrespect, he looks a little bit older than 23 to me, and very angry in the eyes. Again, I don't know what happened. What could have enraged this young person so much that he resorted to allegedly taking the life of another person? According to reports, Morales Ortez's last known address was the home where the incident, and of course I'm ad-libbing, so this is for those that are just listening in, whether you're in your vehicles and you can't look at your devices, for the drivers, for the rideshare program people, the first responders, some that are in hospitals, those who are out in guard booths, whomever who tunes into social media. I'm ad-libbing, but you can figure it out. According to the police, they believe the man who was unalived lived in the home. Quote, they probably have resided in the same house, either now or at some time in the past before. Davis, who's the police chief, said at a news conference. So logically, to assume, again, pay attention to the wording, logically, to assume that they know each other and are familiar with each other is a safe bet to make. Again, this is a quick video of the actual suspect, alleged suspect, and that long walk to the vehicle. And I'm going to put up one more slide and close this out. Again, this is a horrible breaking news story out of Fairfax County, Virginia. Again, Reston to be exact. Thank you for tuning in. This is your hostess, Lise. If you would be so kind, please double tap your screens, or depending upon the device you may be using, please give this a thumbs up and any comments you may have. Thank you so very much. So here's some stats for those of you who might be wondering, well, what else has been happening in Virginia? In Burke, December the 7th, a man was injured and multiple vehicles were damaged by pew-pew fire in Burley Court. September 29th, 2025, there was an officer involved incident and another officer involved incident, April 23rd, 2025, during a traffic stop. And it says, for official updates, you can check the Fairfax County Police Department website or telephone at 703-691-2131. I'll leave this up for a bit. Again, those are just a few of the incidents that have happened. Again, you don't hear much coming out of Virginia like this. I'm sure there is, but this, again, on the heels of the Brown University incident, which I'm going to talk about that later when I get the time to, but they came out with something earlier today, and yes, I am going to go in because I'm just going to say this. Brown University is an Ivy League school, and according to reports, millions, and millions of dollars are I'll just say, in the school. And somehow or another, certain entities and groups have managed to get this wrong. And it appears that this investigation is still going on. Now, I don't know if they have someone else in custody, if they have another person of interest. Again, that first one, I have a lot of questions about that because it is something strange going on. But the only thing that they could say was who they had, they just did not have enough. I saw briefly, that's why I'm not speaking on it, a news conference earlier where they were releasing some more information and still soliciting the public for help. This is bad because if that is an indication that that suspect is still on the loose, they could be anywhere. They could be anywhere. And there was a story, again, when I get an opportunity to get to it, I will, where an MIT professor was found unalived in his home. Now, the irony or the correlation there was MIT is known for engineering and things of that sort. The area at Brown University, almost the same. Nobody knows anything. So I'm saying all this to say, if that person responsible for the Brown University tragedy has yet to be found, how could that be when this man right here was found in, I'm just going to bump it up to 3 hours, 3 hours or less. 3 hours or less. Again, the police released a social media picture of Marvin Fernando Morales Ortiz, and then they casted a wide net in their search. He was considered armed and dangerous, of course. Scary part, five public schools had to be placed on secure the building status. I cannot imagine the trauma that not only the young kids or older students, but people in general in the area are going through right now, having to see, having to witness, having to hear about these types of stories each and every day. Again, the holidays, for many people, it's festive and it's beautiful. And those who are more spiritual, it means something different. Others, it's a depressing time. Others, it's a time where some people may be angry or feeling hopeless, and they have no, no, compassion, nor consideration for anyone else's lives, and perhaps their own, because it would have to take, in my opinion, that type of mentality to commit such a heinous crime in broad daylight and then attempt to escape on a bicycle. Again, where they say he was close to, there was a chance. Again, if they were not on it, he could have escaped. But kudos to first responders and law enforcement who were able to apprehend him before he did escape. Again, this is a breaking story. The investigation, I'm sure, is just warming up, if you will, that there's going to be many questions asked as it relates to motive, um, calls, if there were any calls to that residence in the past, if there was anything on social media about this young person. And again, the status of the young person, I know there are people asking already and will make a comment if they haven't. Well, on a couple of posts, I already saw it. So again, keep in mind, violence isn't monopolized by one color. We know this already. So please, please do not come in the chat with that. Your comments are welcome, but do not make it the way some of you may try, because we've already seen a pattern of mass incidents, and we know the demographics, so let's not play those games. I'm just presenting the news, and again, it's unfortunate. And again, Fairfax County, Virginia. Yeah, I, for one, I don't do too much over in that area because I know that the police, they do not play. I make sure that my seatbelt is on and make sure that my brake lights are working, because do something wrong, and if somebody is sitting in the cut, they will catch you. So your thoughts and opinions again on this very, very tragic story. And it is my hope, my prayer, that people are not getting sensitized to these stories because they're every day. This one is different just a little bit because you don't really hear too much coming out of Fairfax County. Again, that is not to say there's no crime there. You just don't hear much of it. Again, I think what boosted this was because it was a manhunt, and the Brown University started off as a manhunt. So again, I'll speak on that at a later time. But in closing, I want to thank everyone who took a moment or two to stop by and absorb this news. And again, let this be a warning, not fear mongering, not at all. Live your lives, but just be vigilant. If you're going shopping, try to park in a well-lit area. Try to be with someone, and if you are by yourself, just make sure that you do the necessary things that you can to protect yourselves and your loved ones. So with that, everyone, please be safe, be well, and be healthier. Until next video, bye-bye for now.